All right, number one on our list, and this was no secret, the rear naked choke. Right, the rear naked choke is well known as like the king of strangleholds. There was a brief time at one point, and the information on this is in the links that I have down below, where the guillotine actually surpassed the rear naked, but that was a brief snapshot in time. And other than that, the rear naked has been kind of the king of chokes as far as MMA is concerned. It's a touch farther down the list when you look at submission grappling. Guillotine's even further down the list. I didn't mention that in the last video, but it's something you should know. Grapplers are acutely aware of these things, and when striking is not involved, they make fewer mistakes in those directions. They're still a fairly high percentage, but they do tick down the list just a touch. So our first variation on the rear naked is, it's going to be a standing variation. We're going to use the wall here as a proxy for the cage. So in my second fight, I was fighting a guy who was a wrestler, and he was a heavy guy, and my wrestling wasn't near as good, and he was just like all over me. And he slammed me into the cage, and I was able to keep my footing. And he goes for a head outside single across my body. It was just a mistake on his part. He was tired, you know, it was his third round. He was tired and basically just gave me his neck. When I saw his neck was open, I was like, okay, I guess I'll just take this. And I sat him down and finished it. It was almost too easy to believe that it happened kind of deal. But the fact that the rear naked choke is such a dominant finish, and like far and away a dominant finish, kind of gives you the impression that maybe it really just is that easy. So I should say simple, not easy. So if we back up to the cage wall, he's got me slammed in, his hip is kind of on this side, and he's in here going for a single leg for whatever reason. This is the position that we were in. So I just snaked it through. Now, yeah, you know, we've talked about this before in other videos. I want to get the crook of my elbow in the V of his neck. And if I'm worried about that, I can do some fun things to finagle it, right? So I can actually cross-face him to get him out. But in this case, coming around his neck and just hooking on here works pretty well. Now, his leg is behind mine, so I have to get that out. And I run in, and now here we are. I can keep my back right up against the wall. I like to come all the way up to my shoulder, but you don't have to. Scissor in right behind. We're in a great position here. And if I don't want him to be able to rotate out, I can just sit him down. For right now, we're gonna stay standing. And all I have to do is flex and squeeze, and it's on. Nice, fast, simple chokes, super high percentage, and getting slammed into the cage wall is like super high percentage possibility anyway. So if somebody leaves his neck unprotected, just take it. I don't care that it's low hanging fruit. A win is a win, and that's a clean win, so just take it. All right, so our second variation on this, we're gonna take from a ground and pound position. And let's just say I have more of kind of a wrestler's cradle. I get him kind of more or less on his back, or his back facing me. There's lots of ways to do this, but essentially it's a nice ground and pound position. So if I end up back here, right, and I start, you know, scooping and, you know, grabbing and start doing this kind of stuff, I can even start in like I'm gonna give him a pirate's crucifix, whatever. And I can use that as a control position, take this. This is great, right here. He brings that hand up, I'm happy for that, because that gives me kind of a nice crossface to sit him up and start running things through. If his head is still turning, I can just start using a series of crossfaces to open him up and get into my position. And again, just as we had before, basically just bear hug it, flex and squeeze, and it's on. And again, you can lock down the legs, sit through, dig your hooks in. If it's gonna be fast, I mean, we're talking MMA here. We're not talking holding down a black belt in jiu-jitsu. I mean, you might be, but we're also talking that you can be punching him in the ribs and punching him in the face while you're doing this, getting the openings that you want. So feel free to do this kind of hard and fast in competition, not in training. But it's a fast choke. It's a really fast choke. I'm gonna have to see where I put that statistic, but in a scientific study, they found it was like between 8 and 9 or 9 and 10 seconds on average to put somebody out, but some people go out really, really fast, and sometimes it's a psychological tap. They just feel like they're caught, so they tap out. So as long as you can hold that position for 10 seconds, then you should be able to put them out, and they should be tapping long before that if they know they're caught. So there's our top 10 list on top 10 submissions for MMA, and I will talk to you guys later. The journey.
Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, give the dog a bone. You can follow us on our other social media accounts, and if you really like us, you can head over to Amazon and buy a shirt. You can also go over to Gumroad and purchase some of our instructional courses. All of the links will be provided and also on our website. If you happen to be in the Phoenix area, we would love to meet you. Come drop in for a class, even just to chat. And if you're looking for a new home, we would be happy to have you. So until next time, good journey.